What's up, guys? I hope all of you are okay. This time, I'm gonna be reading a story that's so familiar to you guys, and it is called Jack and the Beanstalk. Are you excited to listen? Okay, let's start. Once upon a time, there was a boy named Jack. He lived with his mother in a small cottage. They owned only one thing, a cow. One day, Jack's mother told him to sell the cow at the market. They would use the money to buy food and clothing. At the market, a man offered to buy the cow. I don't have any money, said the man, but I will trade these magic beans for the cow. If you plant them, you will become rich. Jack agreed. He ran home to show the beans to his mother. Jack's mother was angry. You silly boy, she scolded. You sold our cow for a handful of worthless beans? She threw the beans out of the kitchen window. Jack was sent to bed without dinner. Jack woke up early the next morning. He went outside to start his chores. Jack was amazed by what he saw. The beans that his mother had thrown out the window had grown into a giant beanstalk. It reached all the way up into the sky. Jack remembered the words of the man at the market. He began to climb the stalk. He climbed and climbed and climbed until he was high above the clouds. At the very top of the beanstalk, Jack saw an enormous house. Jack crept in through the open window. The house was filled with very large furniture. Suddenly, the ground began to tremble. Jack hid behind a loaf of bread and watched as a giant stomped into the room. The giant dropped a small bag of gold near the door. He pulled a loaf of bread from the cupboard. Fee, fee, fo, fum, said the giant. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Jack trembled with fear, but the giant devoured his bread and then fell asleep. Jack quietly slipped out of his hiding place and grabbed the bag of gold. He ran back to the beanstalk, dragging the bag behind him. He pushed the bag through a hole in the clouds and scrambled down the beanstalk. Jack brought the bag of gold to his mother, who showered him with kisses. Jack and his mother used the gold to buy food, clothes, and many things, but soon the gold was gone. Jack decided to climb up the beanstalk again. For a second time, Jack entered the giant's home and hid. Soon, the giant marched into the room. This time, he was carrying a goose. Jack watched as the goose laid golden eggs. Jack waited for the giant to fall asleep and then grabbed the goose. The goose let out a loud squawk. The giant's eyes flew open. Fee, fee, foo, fum, yelled the giant. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he alive or be he dead, I'll grind his bones to make my bread. Jack raced toward the beanstalk, clutching the goose in his arms. The giant was close behind. Jack scrambled down the beanstalk as fast as he could. Mother, mother, he yelled. Quick, bring me an axe. Jack grabbed the axe. He swung at the beanstalk with all his might. The ground began to shake as the giant came closer. The stalk began to bend and sway and finally came crashing down. The giant fell from the beanstalk and hit the ground with a great thud. Jack's mother was very happy when she saw the goose lay golden eggs. Jack and his mother became rich and they lived happily ever after. The end. Did you guys like this story? I hope so. I know we have read this story, yeah, and we have learned about this one, okay? And I'll be seeing you tomorrow for another story. Okay? Bye, 2P.